Hi, my name is Keith Kelly, and thank you so much for watching this video. If you're thinking about starting a business online, I've just bought the Silver Masterclass and gone through the various modules. There's 8 modules, and I would like to share it with you. I highly recommend it. So have a look and see what Matt has to say here, and get your 8 modules of the Silver class. It's really, really great. Thank you.
Welcome to the Silver Masterclass. In this program, I'm going to be sharing with you how you can get started in your own highly lucrative business, how to choose the right niche, the right business model for you based around your strengths. This is the one missing program. This is what you might call the foundation of succeeding in business, and it's the one thing that they don't teach in a lot of the business training programs. A lot of the business training programs out there are teaching you the fancy tactics. For example, ways that you can suddenly get more leads, suddenly get more sales, but none of those things matter if you are in the wrong business for you. Okay, so this is a great investment that you made. You're going to get a lot out of this program. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is just to really summarize this whole program. This is about starting and growing a business that is perfect for you. Not all businesses are right for all different entrepreneurs. Some business models suit certain entrepreneurs and are definitely not the right sort of business model for other entrepreneurs. So if there's a main theme to be taken away from this program, that is it. Choosing the right business based on your strengths so that you have the maximum chance of succeeding. Let me give you just a brief overview of what we're going to be talking about in Silver. There are 8 main modules in this program. Okay, so the first module is we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship secrets. Okay, the secrets that they don't tell you. What's it really like to be an entrepreneur? I'm going to be talking from experience. I've now been doing this for about 7 years. When I say doing this, I mean being in business for myself. The very first business I actually started was as a 10-year-old, growing up on my parents' farm, selling potatoes on the side of the road. So I've dabbled in and out of business all throughout my teenage years. And of course, when I went to university, I was studying business. That was in Perth, Australia. I am a dropout. I never graduated from university. I actually dropped out to start my first online business, and that was in late 2008. Now, that same online business today has now done over $130 million in sales. We actually now have a team of over 170 staff all around the world. We are headquartered in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, which is actually where I'm filming this right now. But we do have easily over 100 of our staff virtual. That means they work from home all around the world. Okay, so I know a little bit about scaling a business from just an idea that I once had and I started out of my bedroom, to now being, I wouldn't call it a massive company, but it's definitely, in our field, it's definitely one of the bigger companies when it comes to business training. Okay, and I'm going to be sharing a lot of what I learned about scaling a business and making a business successful in this program for you. Next thing I'm going to be talking about is getting everything you want out of life and business. Most people, when they start business because they have an idea and they think, great, there's an opportunity there. So they start out of a short-term perceived opportunity. And most people, when they start a business, they don't put a lot of thought into what the end game is. Why are you going to start a business? Because here's what no one really tells you. Starting a business, as far as making a decision, it's about as important as deciding who you're going to marry. Okay, it really is that serious. Most people, they don't put a lot of thought into what business are they going to start. So they rush into it and they don't really think about, well, what's the end destination that I would like to get to? So in this program, we're going to really encourage you to think about what's the right business for you, why are you doing it, and what's the end game? Because a business is not there to consume your life. Most business owners, that's their reality. They end up starting a business, they end up working 10, 12, 15-hour days and being consumed by the business. Instead of the business giving them more life, which is the whole point of it, the business actually sucks away their life. Okay, so you don't want that to happen to you. We're going to make sure it doesn't in this program. What does it really take to build a big business? We're actually going to be looking at case studies of some of the most successful entrepreneurs on the planet, people who built companies that have done hundreds of millions, some that have done multiple billions. And we're going to look at, well, what are the success characteristics that they all have in common? There are certain things that entrepreneurs, even though a lot of them have different strengths and a lot of them have a lot of differences, there are certain commonalities that they all have. And you can actually adopt those commonalities, those characteristics as your own, and they'll give you a much greater chance of succeeding. How to unlock and leverage your profit-making strengths. This is really, really important. Certain people are good at certain things, and there's no ideal way to be when it comes to strengths. It's not like one strength is necessarily better than the others. We all have different, unique strengths, and when you're building a business, you want to make sure that you choose a business where you are set up from the start to be in a position to naturally win. And also in identifying your weaknesses, what we can do is we can actually hire around those weaknesses. So for example, I am a very disorganized person, okay? Organization, getting everything lined up, that doesn't come naturally to me. So I make sure that in my company, I have people who can complement that weakness. So we're going to look at what are your strengths, and I'm actually going to show you several different tests that you can do that are incredibly accurate. They will tell you more about your strengths than you might even know for yourself. And most entrepreneurs never do this, but if they were, they would give themselves a much higher likelihood of succeeding. Choosing your $1 million niche. So only after we identify the strengths and we find out, well, what's it really take to build a successful business, are we then going to start looking at, well, what niche should you go into? Okay, now this is very important. We need to make sure that you choose a niche that has the potential to grow a big business. Ideally, there's already competition there, because competition means that people are having success. And we need to look at what is the competition doing and how do we do it better? Okay, how do we do it better than what their current solutions are? Then after we do that, after we choose what niche you're going to go into, or after I help you choose your own, then we're going to look at, well, what's the best business model for you? Certain business models are better than others. For example, I grew up on a wheat and sheep farm, and to this very day, my parents, now in their 60s, are still on that farm, and in over 30 years, it's never been very profitable, but it sure has been a lot of work. Okay, so certain business models are much easier than others. Just because you see an entrepreneur who's made tens of millions of dollars, and then you see another one who's struggling and has made, maybe they make $100,000 per year, doesn't mean that the one making tens of millions of dollars is hundreds of times smarter. It doesn't mean that at all. What it often means is that they have a much better business model, which has a lot more leverage built into it. So I'm actually going to show you several different business models that you can choose from for your niche, and then you're going to be able to choose the best one for you. And then finally, we're going to wrap up by talking about choosing your winning product and your winning offer. Okay, so if you're going to launch your product, I'm going to show you how to come up with the minimum viable product. Think of it as a prototype. It's the shortest path between where you are today and launching that product and getting your very first customer. And also how to craft an offer around that so that when you present that offer to targeted prospects, you're getting the highest possible conversion rate, or the most amount of people saying yes and actually buying your product. There is actually one more module, and that's module 8. In module 8, we are going to be talking about your goals. So what are your financial targets? What are your business targets in general? What are your targets in life? And then how do we break down those targets into daily, more manageable targets? And then how do you make sure you hit them? We're going to be looking at what prevents someone from hitting their targets. So natural tendencies like procrastination, perfectionism, those kind of things that hold so many entrepreneurs back. And I'm going to show you ways that you can overcome every single one of them so that you can rapidly build your business. Just a few points on how to get the most out of this program. Here's the deal. If you're watching this from behind your computer right now and you go through this entire program, you watch every hour of every module and you listen to me for the next 10 hours or however long this takes, yet you don't do anything along the way, I'm sorry to say this, but I can almost guarantee that you're not going to get a whole lot out of this program. The people who get the maximum amount of value out of this program will be the people actually implementing as we go through. So here's the first clue. When I'm presenting and I show you a slide and it says exercise on it, that means that that's time for you now to actually go and do the exercise. Now, it might take you 5 minutes, it might take you 30 minutes. And the temptation is going to be to just skip on through, okay? And to say, well, I don't need to do that right now, I'll come back, I'll do that later. Don't do that, okay? When you see the exercise symbol, stop what you're doing, pause the video, and actually go and do the exercise. That's the only way that you're going to get value out of this program, okay? So just resist that temptation to go on through, do the exercise, because I want to see you do really well. I want your investment in this program to pay off many, many times over, and it can, but it's dependent on you actually doing the work as we go along. Now, don't worry, it's not going to be too much work, and the work that we do, it's going to be the most highly leveraged work possible. Think about it this way. Would you rather choose the wrong niche, the wrong business model based around things that are not a natural strength to you, and spend the next 3 or 5 years in a constant state of frustration? Or would you rather actually do what I tell you to do in this program, choose the right business model, and set yourself up to win from the very start, so that the next 5 years are a lot easier and potentially a lot more lucrative? I'm sure I know which one you would rather choose. So again, just do the exercises. It's really going to help you. This little quote here: clarity comes from engagement and not thought. That's from Marie Forleo, who's a business trainer, among other things. And it's a great little quote, because I found over the last 7 years that I've been doing this, I mean, I'm an educator. I have a lot of training products out there. I buy a lot of books, I buy a lot of training courses, and I go to a lot of seminars. And although I get a lot of value out of all of them, the most valuable thing in my business is my experience. I learn so much more through actually doing things and making mistakes. And if there's one thing that successful entrepreneurs all have in common, is that they make a lot more mistakes than all the other entrepreneurs. Okay, they fail a lot more often, but every time they make a mistake, they learn from it and they move on. Okay, so really they just fail much faster, and that's really what you have to get into the habit of doing. Constant implementation, very important. Again, think about it this way. When you're a child, or if you have a child, think back to when they were 9 months, 1 year, or 1.5 years old, whenever they started walking. What do? Okay, they first start off crawling, then they get up on their 2 feet, and they maybe last for about half a second before falling over. But then they try again. They don't let it deter them. They keep on trying, and they fall over many, many times. Now, can you imagine if instead of actually trying to learn through practical application, trying to actually walk, they were to go and study a book or look at diagrams on how to walk? I mean, of course, that's not going to work. Nothing can substitute actually implementing and making the mistakes along the way. It's exactly the same as in your business. Okay, if you're going to succeed, you have to be willing to make a lot of mistakes and learn through action. Okay, so take a lot of action. All of our training programs, from silver, gold, titanium, platinum, diamond, all the way through, as you're going through our main core curriculum, make mistakes. Okay, be applying these things, because that's how you're going to get the maximum amount of value out of it all.
So there you have it. Go ahead right now. I'm going to be putting the link at the bottom here. Click on that link, get onto the Silver Masterclass. As I said, I've done it. It's really, really great. I highly recommend it. So go right now to that link, click on it, and I'll see you on the inside. Thanks for watching.